I am Javier Ramos, candidate for the United States House of Representatives in Arizona Congressional District 5, and this is my story. I'm a tribal attorney, proud husband, and father, but long before I was a candidate for Congress, I grew up in the small migrant community of Cashin, Arizona. Spanish was my first language, and I was raised in the onion fields of the West Valley. I learned many valuable lessons from my single mother and grandmother, like hard work, determination, the value of education, and respect. My father left our family when I was 6 months old. My father previously had fought in the Vietnam War for the 1-7 Marines. He fought in Quezon, Hill 51, Hill 52, and Hill 53. It wasn't always easy growing up, but my mother taught me to persevere, work hard, and get an education. My mom eventually left the onion fields and went to night school at Arizona State University. She brought me along when I was 14 years old and to take notes for her. My mom eventually received her degree in education and received a 4.0 in Masters of Education. She eventually became Bilingual Teacher of the Year for the state of Arizona. It was at this point when I decided to continue my education and get a bachelor's degree and eventually a law degree from Arizona State University at the age of 24 years old. My first job was as an assistant attorney general under Grant Woods and Janet Napolitano. I eventually started working for the Gila River Indian community under the great Rod Lewis, the first Native American to argue before the United States Supreme Court. Some of my responsibilities were to build houses for community members as the construction attorney. I eventually left Gila River to work in Washington, D.C. for the Navajo Nation. I worked in D.C. for 7 years as director of the Navajo Nation Washington, D.C. office. I have city, state, federal, international, and private law experience. My story wouldn't be complete without the love and support of my wife and family. My wife, Marincita, was born on the Navajo reservation at Fort Defiance. We have 3 children, and we have a very dynamic family. My passion is that when Sheriff Arpaio was in power, we were moving back to Arizona from DC. My son, who was in 3rd grade, asked me, "Dad, are they gonna stop us when we get to Arizona?" I decided then to stand up for people who could not stand up for themselves. When immigrant children were being caged on the border of Arizona and Texas, it was women that stood up for them. When the George Floyds of the world were being killed, it was women that stood up for them. Now that women rights are being taken away, who's gonna stand up for them? My mother stood up for me. My grandmother stood up for me. Our family is led by a strong Navajo woman, that we all stand up for women and a woman's privacy rights, a woman's right to choose. If we don't stand up now, there's not gonna be anything left. When LGBTQ rights are taken away, when the privatization of Social Security is complete, we're gonna look back and wonder what happened. So this is when I stand. I am Javier Garcia Ramos, your next congressman for the great state of Arizona.